Hail, and well met, citizens of YouTube, with a special indication to those individuals who find themselves members of the TYTNation. Hail to you gentlemen and ladies of the Young Turks. I am the Journeyman, and I welcome you to the spiral of my thoughts. For this, my first submission to you, the TYTNation, I should like to discuss irony. As a new citizen of this country, now holding dual citizenship with the United States and with my home country of Great Britain, I've immersed myself in American history and politics, the study thereof. Most of what I see and hear disturbs me, or outright disgusts me. And most of that disgust and distaste comes from what I see from the right. That should come as no surprise. Here we have a political party full of people who claim to be true patriots, men and women who say that they know what the founding fathers of this country would have wanted and would have expected from its citizenry at this stage in history. Yet, everything that the GOP does seems to be in direct opposition to the original will and implications of those very founding figures. One of the main reasons that the colonies seceded from their home nation of Britain was in order to obtain the freedom of religion, to escape religious persecution and mandate. They wished to get away from the domination of the Church of England. They did not want to be constrained by a bunch of theocrats. Yet, the GOP is rife with these very same sorts of people, all of them vying for control over the citizenry in the name of their God, their interpretation of an ancient text that has very little literal application to modern day life. Every time we turn around, they're trying to legislate on behalf of their religion. They want prayer in schools. They want Roe v. Wade to be overturned in favor of their particular interpretation of biblical law. They want a woman's rights stripped from her, in accordance to that grand old message of the Bible that a man must have control over his woman. Quite frankly, I find that sort of knuckle-dragging, ape-like tendency to be very telling of our failure to get very far beyond the evolutionary point of being chimps. We have congressmen who, in the state of Arizona, on the local level for that particular state, endorsed by individuals on the federal level, have managed to legislate, to mandate, that public schools in Arizona offer an elective class in high school regarding biblical studies and its effect, the effect of the Bible, on Western civilization and culture and history. I will provide a link below. Yet this same state has completely destroyed Mexican-American studies. You can look to the Huffington Post for a story on that. I look back at my own national history and consider the influence of the East India Trading Company. This was an enormous monopoly that managed, through use of its own lobbyists, to powerfully influence regulation and legislation in the Parliament during the 17th and 18th century. Now true, they were finally limited in 1773, after legislation was passed to govern them, but this was a private company that held military-scale power. many of the most outspoken critics of the East India Trading Company helped form the body that became known as the Founding Fathers. They didn't want corporations controlling the interests and the laws of the common everyday citizenry. Yet the GOP seems quite often to do the exact bidding and will of corporate entities. Strange how that works, isn't it? They claim to fight on behalf of the everyday average American. Yet they're no better than the parliamentary heads who kowtowed to the lobbyist demands of the East India Trading Company some 2 or 3 centuries after the fact. And let's not forget the most recent irony of the grand old party, their insistence, their absolute insistence that we strike down everything about the most recent healthcare legislation, specifically pointing to the insurance mandate. Now, I for one am not a huge fan of the mandate, but I'm also from a country that originally allowed me socialized healthcare. Now that I'm here in America, I require private insurance. Thankfully, I shall soon have it. But that is beside the point. The point is, the mandate was something that was written into the law as an addendum, written in by the very Republicans who are now screaming for the entire thing to be scrapped. And here's another great little irony about that. They don't want you to be mandated to purchase a private product. Yet, whenever we go looking or asking about alternative energy sources, they demand that we purchase gasoline, crude oil. They demand it. It's a private product. But they offer us no alternatives, nor do they encourage us to look for alternatives. They want us to blindly walk along the path that their corporate masters have set for us. Ladies and gentlemen, the GOP, irony in living flesh. Citizens of YouTube, I thank you for your time and consideration. I am the Journeyman, and I hope this found you well. Adieu.